Good day, my name is Mizan and I thank you for the opportunity to present my work at this timely conference as well as your interest in my research. I'm just going to try and share my screen of my slideshow with you. I hope you can see it and maybe I will try and put it on full screen mode. That may be better. So today I will discuss the basis of my proposed research project on the relation between spatial design qualities and positive psychological health. I will begin by introducing the interdisciplinary approach to my research and provide background on my doctoral study on the phenomenon of the inner geographies. I will describe my emotively oriented methodology and share my findings thereof. These informed and led to my novel contribution, which I intend developing further in my proposed research project. I will conclude with the expected impact thereof and provide some references thereafter. First, please allow me to briefly contextualize my research based on my professional background and research interests. I am a researcher in the geohumanities, which in bringing together spatial disciplines with the arts and humanities is interdisciplinary in nature. I was previously a project architect at an international architectural practice. I completed my doctoral studies at the Department of Humanities at Universitat Pompeu Fabra whilst living in Barcelona, Spain, under an Erasmus Mundus doctoral mobility scholarship. And I am currently a senior lecturer in architecture in Cape Town, South Africa. Through my niche area of psycho-spatial experience, I qualitatively investigate individuals' emotive and intuitive encounters with spaces or worlds, both without and within the self, to better understand the relation between subjective well-being and designed environments. Based on assumptions of phenomenology and metaphysics, specifically philosophy of mind, to focus on inner sensory perception, I employ my specializations in the inner geographies, emotional geographies, and qualitative research methodologies, as well as user experience design. My research aims to advance the psychological value of spaces to aid architectural and urban interventions with the goal to enhance quality of living experiences and facilitate positive inner well-being of individuals. Hence, my research draws on my background in architecture, integrates the arts, literature, and philosophy, and is enriched by my collaborations in neuroaesthetics and empirical psychology, human geography, and human resources. These collaborations have been key to the ongoing development of my interdisciplinary approach to inner well-being, thereby forming the basis of my proposed project. Using the psychospatial phenomenon of the inner geographies has sparked these collaborations and has grown both my research niche on the psychospatial and research focus on inner well-being. My proposed research project will bind core resources of architecture, neuroaesthetics, and human geography to firstly explore links between perceptual qualities of individuals and design factors of creative cultural spaces that interact to uplift the spirits of both people and place, and two, describe the aesthetics that to inspire pleasant placemaking, which is crucial to enrich the quality of living experiences in cities and enhance inner well-being. To do so, my proposed project will combine architectural design and theory with psychological or empirical aesthetics and geocreativity or creative landscapes to address issues around what constitutes, or rather should constitute, enhanced quality of life for citizens in fast-growing globalized major cities. Of course, this depends upon successful acquisition of funding, which will enable me to conduct the proposed research project in Vienna, Austria, and Barcelona, Spain. The point of departure for my proposed research is my explorations into the psychological experiences of spaces based on my doctoral research of the psychospatial phenomenon of the inner geographies. It provides the basis for gaining insight and advancing discussions on psychological and spatial, or the psychospatial, relations in everyday life. Briefly, the inner geographies is of abstract, intangible, and somewhat elusive nature. It is underpinned by Carl Jung's consideration that psychological and spatial relations, or the psychospatial, centers on inner sensory perceptual experience. Later, human geographer Inger Birkeland employed the term inner geography to formulate her understanding of the self via people-place relations. Developing this premise, my research suggested that the inner geographies is indeed a psychospatial phenomenon related to triadically interconnected essences of awareness, atmospheres, and imagination, which attunes us to what we experience and how. These coalesce with individuals' significant encounters in both tangible and intangible spaces or worlds that are experienced both externally and internally through body and mind, thereby constituting the spirit of place and person. My research indicated that the inner geographies is an innate yet omnipotent phenomenon that is actively and intimately involved in individuals' everyday situated and mindful life and ultimately affects individuals' well-being. To explore and describe spatial experiences by individuals in my doctoral research, I drew on the interdisciplinary inferences of architecture and the arts and humanities, which integrated experiential realms of spatiality and existentialism. My theoretical investigation was based on the leitmotif of the essences of awareness, atmospheres, and imagination, which was inspired by a painting by Giorgio de Chirico and a novel by Sir V.S. Naipaul, both sharing the same name, The Enigma of Arrival. The coalescence of these affective essences underpinned my empirical research, forming the strategy to engage a sample group of mobile global participants in the naturalistic setting of Barcelona, Spain, through fieldwork. To investigate and make tangible the intangible phenomena, I formulated an emotively oriented sensory methodology by drawing upon, adapting, and combining existing research methods that also acknowledged other ways of sensing spaces or worlds. It involved activities that comprised questionnaires, mind-wandering, and reflection to uncover data on individuals' thoughts and feelings. Data was collected using narrative and creative methods via techniques of dialogue, writing, and illustration, such as graphing, mapping, and drawing. The empirical data that was generated was analyzed using interpretative phenomenological analysis and narrative and thematic analyses. The methodology focused on participants' actual, fantasized, symbolic, and spiritual journeys, which included encounters in spaces in and near Barcelona, beyond the city and around the globe, as well as within themselves. This incorporation of psychological, geographical, and biographical facets enabled the exploration and description, as well as the interpretation and understanding of individuals' deeper sensibilities and spatial experiences. It offered access to individuals' implicit and explicit worlds within their everyday lived realities and uncovered hidden emotive and intuitive presences of their inner perceptive sensibilities. It revealed deeper connections and interactions between individuals and their worlds as landscapes of feeling, comprising deeper meanings of experiences of spaces lived without and within the self. The results showed that situations are made meaningful through emotive appraisals of good to bad feelings, Resonant occurrences comprise place, people, and feelings as singular factors or a combination thereof, and impressionable settings are characterized by socio-spatial landscapes, which include the socio-cultural and the physical settings that are built and natural. The analytical interpretation of the results led to a notable finding. Similar affective experiences occur across different architectural, urban, and natural spaces, and of these, uplifting experiences were most prominent. These pertained to thought and felt qualities of oneness, integrity, enchantment, serenity, and attunement, which had a positive effect on individuals' subjective well-being. The synthesis of the theoretical and empirical results suggested that the interconnection of awareness, atmospheres, and imagination is integrally related to individuals' affective experiences of spaces or worlds. Individuals' awareness offers insight and foresight into the atmospheric assemblages of the material and immaterial spirit of spaces without and within, as well as the echoes in the imagination that draw from and inform past, present, and future worlds. Encompassing meaningful situations, resonant encounters, and impressionable settings, these results revealed numerous uplifting spatial experiences, which had that positive effect. The findings showed that our spatial encounters are psychological in nature as we voyage through worlds without and within us. These psychological and spatial narratives are composed of and influenced not only by broad exposure to outer spaces, but importantly by the deeper interactions with these spaces as they are experienced within the situated and mindful self. Understanding our engagement, navigation, and illumination of psychospatial experience through our inner geographies offers possible opportunities to the field of spatial design. It implicates on the ways in which we consider, interact with, and shape our worlds in everyday contemporary life in order to consciously contribute to positive inner well-being, which is a priority of the UN's SDGs, emphasized by good health and well-being and sustainable cities and communities. Despite disciplinary foundations and explorations based on genius loci phenomenology and psychogeography by prolific theorists, phenomena of spatial design and practical efforts by architects, and recent interdisciplinary calls for architecture to focus on deeper psychological states, the explicit link between practice-based areas of architectural and urban design to effective interactions that facilitate inner well-being remains underexplored. Hence, my proposed project seeks to advance research into the holistic aesthetic value of architectural design for positive inner well-being by critically focusing on the development of architectural psychology. My proposed interdisciplinary project will combine architectural design and theory with psychological or empirical aesthetics and geocreativity or creative landscapes to investigate cultural spaces of similar typology, yet are varied in their contextual quality of urban interventions, garden or landscape installations, and heritage restorations. Through targeted research on perceptive feeling or sensation and artistic creative design character of spaces, both meaning aesthetics, the investigation will go beyond material dimensions by prioritizing minds and souls in the fresh interdisciplinary approach. If successful in attaining project funding, I look forward to updating you on my progress at the next conference. My research on the phenomenon of the inner geographies brought to the fore hidden dimensions and subtle realms of effective spatial experiences through the essences of awareness, atmospheres, and imagination. It has revealed its potential as a means through which we may explore and describe, as well as uncover and engage with the spaces of our everyday life. these aesthetic entanglements of the familiar and unfamiliar, psychical and physical, intimate and universal, and individual and environment inform one another in an intersubjective interaction of the psyche and external forces. This affords a holistic sense of both the collective and intimate spaces we encounter, for which the phenomenon of the inner geographies holds potential to both connect and drive humanity-centered experience and value-sensitive design. Here, on the next slide, are a few sources referred to in the slide presentation, but a comprehensive list of references that supports the research will be available in the paper. I thank you again for joining me today, and I invite your feedback and welcome the opportunity to engage in discussion with you. Please feel free to contact me on email, mizan@live.co.za, small letters, and enjoy the rest of the conference and take care.